Okay, it's true to say that people don't prepare to fail. The problem is they fail to prepare. And this can make your activities not succeed. This can create problems for you and the student, and that will lead to a cycle of insecurity. You're not going to be confident creating activities that challenge your student because you don't have confidence in their ability to succeed. But what it really boils down to is your ability to prepare the activity appropriately. Okay, what we're going to look at today is based on, it's informed by a bunch of ideas, like this idea of the retention pyramid, right? The rates of retention. We don't need to talk about this too much today. And it's also informed by Bloom's taxonomy. These are not today's objectives. Have a go and have a look at that in your own time. But this is what's kind of educating and informing my theories on how I create activities. Probably the most important aspect of today is Pareto's law. It's really important that you understand the 80-20 rule. Again, it's not something that I want to focus on today, but what Pareto's law implies is that 20% of the work you do is responsible for 80% of your success. Or to put it the other way around, 80% of your success comes from 20% of your work. I like to break this down in all aspects. So like lesson planning would be 80% review and consolidation with 20% new vocab and new grammar coming through, or 80% easy wins with a 20% challenge at the end. Okay, we'll get back to that in a little while, but these are the basic fundamentals and foundations of what we're going to talk about today. I want to break today's content down into 3 sessions, 3 little small areas. Number 1, the overview of an activity structure in general, the general theory that's structuring all of my activity planning and my lesson planning. Then I want to give very specific Jolly Phonics example of how I do this with a phonics class with very young learners. I then want to go back and do the exact same structure with Jolly Grammar, slightly older students, a couple of years older, going into primary, right? The examples you'll see today are with young learners, and they are with small groups. But that's just a product of the situation we're in. I can't have big groups, and I'm only working privately with very young learners because of the situation. We're not having open class at the moment, okay? So let's look at the overview of an activity structure. This is how I plan everything. Now, this planning concept I use with every level. Like I said, the examples we're going to look at today are with young learners, but I use the same concept with teenagers, adults, with teachers, with everything I do. Even when I'm working with native speakers, doing teacher training, not just language training. Everything I do, I flip the pyramid upside down because I like the concept of funneling. I like to take a big concept and work my way down and refine it to a point. And as we work through it, you'll see here the arrow, the level of challenge increases. So we start easy with the lead in, refine it down, start focusing, then we hit our teaching goal. Yeah? What I don't do is jump to my teaching goal. If I'm doing comprehension or grammar or a big reading piece, we don't begin with that large reading piece. We funnel our way to it. Just as when I need students to create an activity or complete an activity, I don't begin with the activity. We walk up to it. So with this idea of walking up to the activity in mind, let's just change the graphics a little bit and make it in a more linear way. Yeah? Let's make it in a more linear concept. Maybe it'll help some people visualize what I'm referring to. So you can see on the bottom right here, I've got whatever my target is. Yeah, whatever my target is. We're not going to do that right now, but you need a target, right? So you're going to do a lesson plan, you're going to do an activity. What's the point of the lesson? What's the point of the activity? What are you expecting your students to accomplish? That's your target, right? Whether it's an indicator target or an independent activity, whatever you're trying to achieve. So lead into the subject in a way that guarantees success. That's the heading of this part for the lead-in. You'll see at the bottom my notes there. This isn't necessarily challenging. It's mainly review. It should be engaging. There's no new content. I'm not bringing anything new to this part of the lesson yet. We're working on Pareto's law, right? 80% review, recycling, consolidating, refining a previously built knowledge. You can call this the warm-up. Yeah? It should be engaging, which is another way of saying fun, interesting. If you hit any roadblocks at this point, you can assess what the roadblock is. Is it an issue that you've not explained something properly? Is it a roadblock or an issue with your teaching and your implementation? Or is it something the children have forgotten? Or have you assessed your child wrong or your student wrong and they don't know this yet? Don't forget, not knowing is not the same as forgetting. If they've just forgotten something, you can remind them. And all you do is you go back to any previous accomplishment and you review, you remind, you recycle, and then you try again. All right, you always go back to your basics, whatever those basics are. What we don't do is bulldoze on and just keep moving forward because it's in the plan. You've assessed, you've seen there's a roadblock, you've noticed an issue, go back. Next, you want to develop your content or your activity toward your ultimate goal. So you're going to refine the activity. You're going to make it slightly more challenging. Demand a little bit more of your students. Ask them to present multiple skills. Ask them to demonstrate multiple abilities. But still, we're in Pareto's 80 here. We've not hit the 20 yet. All right? So we'll just ask them to say they know this skill and they know that skill, whatever it is. You ask them to put them together and demonstrate the ability to do both at once. So for example, you might have done nouns, you might have done verbs already. You might be building up to something like adverbs, or you might be building up to linking words. I don't know, but you need to have the student demonstrate their ability to put together previously learnt knowledge into something slightly more challenging. Now, we're focusing our activity to the ultimate goal that we're looking to practice. We're getting harder now. Now we're getting a laser focus. We're getting that magnifying glass in. Your student should now be on the edge of their prior knowledge or skill. And at this point, you're moving into the 20 now, Pareto's 80-20. And this is where you're going to require your teacher skills, right? More modeling, explaining in clear and simple terms what you're asking them to do, because it's not something they've done before now. You're slowly moving into harder and harder tasks. So you need to be able to make sure the student understands the task in order to prepare for success, right? So remember the name of today's session, preparing for success. You can't just jump in and assume or presume the student understands what you need of them. And success. You've hit your target. Whatever that target was, you are now demonstrating, or your students are now demonstrating their new knowledge independently or with minimum teacher assistance. Okay, that's the basic concept. That's all I wanted to talk about today, right? These very basic ideas, and I'm now going to go ahead and give you a practical example of this. I'm not just going to talk in theory and concepts. I want to give you hands-on examples that you could use tomorrow if you teach this subject tomorrow, all right? In the example, that is. So let's go to a Jolly Phonics activity. Let's go back to our original, the beginning of those graphics, all right? Let's go straight back to these graphics. We were talking about the target, right? So what's my target? We need a specific target. Let's be very explicit here. I want to have my students complete an independent pair work activity with little to zero teacher assistance in order to demonstrate their knowledge, blending skills, segmentation abilities, listening, and recognition of all group 1 sounds. Sounds like a big one, right? It's not that big, don't worry. In this way, the teacher can give authentic assessment without stress or anxiety on the part of the student. And indeed, build confidence during this period. So normally teachers get it wrong. They've got like, I teach, then I assess. I teach, I assess. That's summative, right? We want to do formative assessing. It's far more low impact. You want to be assessing during the teaching process, constantly reflective assessment on what am I doing? Am I being successful? Are the students succeeding in a low anxiety way? Or are you creating anxiety by letting them know you're testing them? So you'll see what I mean. Okay, we'll get to it now. So I've given you a very specific target. So back to my original graphic, lead into the subject in a way that guarantees success, not challenging, review only. No new content, should be engaging, right? Well, we're not going to go through it. So I'm going to do a very, very simple fly swap activity, and I'm going to funnel that as well. I'm going to begin easy, single sounds. I'm going to add the vowel consonant. I'm then going to add consonant vowel consonant. So we've got a single sound, VC, CVC. All right. I even do CCVC, but we're not going to focus on that too much today. All right. So let's just look at a very, very, very single sound video. They're very short videos, just 20 or 30 seconds. In the longer videos, I will skim through it so you can just see the progress. What I want you to be aware of is if the child hits any issues, you'll notice that in one of them, in a later video, the child gets the vowel wrong. That's fine. We don't panic. I give the Jolly Phonics hand gesture to give them a cue, which is our basics. I might go back to sound counting to ensure that we're getting our fundamental skills are being used to encode or decode the word. And I don't move forward until I feel that we've had success. Okay.
Okay. And the first sound is... Whoa, very good. Sound number 2. Ah. Sound number 3. You can do it, Priya, as well. Sound number 4.
Okay, very straightforward.
Okay.
Now, vowel consonant blend. I'm simply asking them to do something they've done before to prove or to review or to consolidate our abilities.
Good. Priya, sound is an. Priya, go. Good. Gone. In. Good. Priya. At. Oh, I said at, not at. Can you show me at? Like this? At. Good girl.
You see, we went back to basics when we hit a small roadblock, made sure we didn't turn it into a negative experience. CVC.
This time, Priya, 3 sounds. You ready? 3 sounds. At, sat. Very good. Gone. Put my glasses on. You ready, gone? 3 sounds. It, pit. What? Plastic high five. Boom. Excellent. Priya, you ready? At, net. At. At. Good girl. Plastic high five. Ding.
Okay, so again, in that last video, I didn't just move forward. I didn't want to leave it with the hesitation on the et sound. I also didn't just let her sit there thinking on her own for ages. I jumped in within 3 seconds. If you didn't recall it quickly, I jumped in with the action. That's fine. I was reading the words to help achieve success. I wasn't just going net, pat, sat, sit. I wanted them to get it. I wanted them to feel successful. That's not spoon feeding. That's preparing for success, because our ultimate goal is an independent activity. That's the bit they're going to get their extra 20 of the 80-20 rule, right? This is just getting their mind ready, making them feel confident, making them feel they can do it, making sure that I've not missed a step in my teaching. These kids, by the way, in these sessions, that this is only like their 5th lesson at this point, right? We've only done like 5 sessions together, 6 sessions. I'm not in a hurry to get them to just be completely fluent. I want to get the activity done. So we're refining my content now, developing my content, right? What am I doing? It's a teacher-led dictation of group 1 words with the teacher helping segmentation of sounds by reading clearly to help ensure success and slowly building word complexity. I've chosen the words. I've curated them. I'm not just picking random words. I've decided to begin with vowel consonant words, then CVC, then clusters at the beginning, and at the very end, we have a consonant cluster at the end, which is harder. Initial consonant clusters are easier than final. That's not today's lesson. This is not a Jolly Phonics lesson. This is an activity. What I mean is today's session is not all about how to teach Jolly Phonics. It's how to structure activities. I presume if you're into Jolly Phonics, you know it already. If you don't, there's a video on my YouTube channel, Jolly Phonics for Beginners. Look at that. This is about activities. You don't jump in. That's the whole point. You lead up. So I'm going to help them get it right without giving them the answer too much. Okay? Let's see how we go. I will be skimming through this video a little bit during it to make sure you can just see the basic progression and procedure.
It. Tuck it on, you look yourself, and the answer is it. Well done. Please show me the word at. Well done. 2 for 2. Please show me the word an. Show me an. There's the word an. Very.
Start progressing.
The word snap. Snap.
See it progressing. And final consonant cluster.
Good. Well done. Let's very quickly break that down. Please leave it there for me. I'll put my mask on now because I'm coming closer to you. Now, let's look at this. Priya, can you read this to me?
So, I was segmenting the words for them. I was helping a lot. I was showing them how to segment p and. I was not expecting them to do it. They can do it. I've seen them do it before. Now, have we done this activity before? Yes, because we're still in the 80 of the 80-20. We have done this activity before. I know they can do it. I'm just ensuring they remember the techniques involved. I want them to succeed. They want to succeed. We all want to succeed. Now we have to move forward. Now we're going to start slowly moving into the Pareto's 20. Okay, we're going to start moving forward now. Now we're getting a focus, right? Now we're starting to focus. Now, what I've done now is I've flipped it. It's now student-led. They're going to do the same activity with me because I want them to read the words this time. I want them to read it, decode it, speak it, blend it. So rather than just give them the words and ask them to do it to each other, I want them to observe the thinking process I want. I'm gonna go through the pantomime of pretending to blend the word in my head. K, at, k, and I'm going to count it out. I'm going to remind them of the skills I want them to use while they're playing the game independently in the next activity.
Thank you so much. Well done. Now, Bria, please pick up this word and have a look. You can look as well. Can you read that word to me, please? An. Am I correct?
Yes.
High five. Oh, fist bump. Go on. Please read this word to me. What does it say? At. Am I correct? Oh, show me. Oh, thank you. You can put them down now. Bria.
Okay, moving through, you can see we're getting slightly more complicated with the words. And then we do a quick review at the end.
Repeat after me. Stop, please. Stop, please. Please repeat after me. An. Please repeat after me. An. Bria, are you listening? Oh, don't forget your mummy's going to watch the video. You should really try hard. An. It. Look at the word. At. Sat.
Okay. So, we have now done everything possible to ensure success for my target activity, which is a student-led independent activity, student 1 to student 2, S1 to S2, classic ESO activity structure. I will just be there curating, managing, and ensuring success with them. I don't want them to fail. If I feel them struggle, if I feel that they're not moving forward, I would help and give hints. Just now, by the way, in that activity, was I cheating? Yeah, of course I was. So as they were looking at the words, I'm just looking through the card because it's light in that room and I can see what the word is. I need to know that they're going to feel successful. So if they got the at or the et sound wrong, I could ask them to reread it to me and help them, because sometimes they learn with American accent teachers, and the at letter can sound like an et with an American accent. It's a different accent. So I don't want to have any, blurry lines. I don't want any gray here. I want it black or white. They either succeeded or they haven't. So I cheat. I make sure I know what the word they're reading is, plus I chose the words, so they know what they are, and I make sure we get there. Because again, if it was every word we had this issue, what would I do? Make a note. They have trouble with the A and the E sounds, at and et, and then I might do a review session later on with them. But I would make a note and self-assess and reflect constantly. All right? And let's keep moving forward. Where are we up to now? We're up to our final piece. Success! An independent, student-led activity. This is my target. Okay? Let's see how we get on. Again, I won't show you the whole thing. All the raw footage is available on the YouTube channel. You can see it on there, okay?
Yeah, please pick up a word from me. We've never done this before. This word here, pick one up for me. And read it to God. What does it say?
It.
Can you please show Bria what word she's holding? Is he correct? You can show Bria now?
Correct.
Well done. You can put this down right here. Go on, pick up a word and read it to Bria. A or e? An. Can you show Bria the word? Bria, are you correct? Well done. Thank you.
Then we move through the word families. Preparing for success at each stage. Lots of compliments, lots of positive reinforcement, and me constantly ensuring success at every level.
Is that right?
So, that was my general theory in a practical Jolly Phonics activity. Now, Jolly Grammar, let's do that. I mean, again, at every point, I'm ensuring success. All right? I'm trying to do summative Not something. I'm trying to do formative assessment the whole time. I'm trying to do reflective assessment. I'm trying to ensure success, create confidence, seeds of confidence. Confidence creates confidence. Success creates success, right? I will do this activity again with them, but slowly over the sessions, it would become a warm-up, and I wouldn't need to do this whole procedure. I would just give them the words, sit them down, say, you know what to do, guys, off you go, boom. And you've got kids just reading to each other right at the beginning of class, right? I would always build this into my lesson planning. So let's look at the same concept with Jolly Grammar, right? Let's see how Jolly Grammar looks under this heading. Now, the kid in this session is actually a kindergarten 3 child still. He's not in primary yet, but we are doing a primary product because he's gone through Jolly Grammar, Jolly Phonics with me. He's finished, and he's a very competent, capable young lad. He's very lovely as well. So I didn't mind doing this with him, okay? Well, again, now, let's be specific. What's my target? The student will understand that verbs are separate from nouns and that they describe what the noun is doing in the examples we use. The student will be able to identify simple verbs in a sentence, and that we use the color red to represent the verbs. The student will complete a piece of work from the Jolly Grammar book to demonstrate understanding of verbs. It's important you understand all of my videos are authentic. I do not rehearse the kids or prep them in advance. This is genuine real-time activities done in real time. The student has never seen verbs with me before. This is our first time approaching it. So what do? Let's lead into the subject in a way that guarantees success. Let's use the easiest activity in the world, TPR, total physical response. If you don't know what this is, look it up. It might be something I'll do another lesson on later, another lecture on next time. Maybe we'll do a free session on how to do TPR. It's Professor Asher from San Jose University came up with this. It means total physical response, and it's very much linked to the Jolly learning method of teaching. It's audio-visual kinesthetic, and it's very, very useful, and it can be used with zero language learners. Kids and adults that have zero language to begin with can accomplish this. The procedure is very straightforward, and again, today's not a TPR session. But anyway, it's grammar-based and it's verb-based. So here we go. This is me doing a very quick TPR. I'm also using verbs in the TPR that we will need later on in the lesson.
Cry. Cook. Very nice. Fly. And skip. Do you know how to skip? Like a skip rope? Let me show you. Skip. Skip, skip, and stop. Sit. Stand. Cry. Brush. Hop. Swim. Cook. Fly. Sit down.
Okay, very straightforward. TPR, a wonderful way of introducing verbs and a wonderful way of warming up a class. I do it online as well. I do this. Also, another thing I want to be open about is people might say, oh, but there's only 1 or 2 kids in the room. I can't do it more than that because we can't open. So I will do all of these activities with 20 kids, 30 kids, and I have done when I've been a homeroom teacher in the past. Please look for ways to adapt this to your particular situation, not look for excuses why you can't. Whether it's online, you can do it online. You can send the kids things to print out and do at home. You can do point and say at home. You can do TPR at home. You can do all of this stuff, even if you're online or even if you're in a large group. Okay, so part 2, all right, after the lead-in. Actually, we're still in the lead-in. Sorry, I've done 2 or 3 concepts of the lead-in now. Let's review nouns real quick with a quick game of I Spy, right? Don't forget what are nouns, something you can take a picture of. I Spy is a perfect example of it. I spy with my eye, a noun beginning la 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 la. I would probably incorporate Jolly Phonics here as a nice recycling tool. Yeah, la 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 lion, yay. I spy, my eyes are noun beginning monkey, monkey, yeah. Okay, very straightforward. And I'm not going to spend too long showing you this because it's very straightforward.
Noun beginning with P. Lives on a farm. Oink oink.
Pig.
A pig, yeah. So the monkey and a pig. The nouns. I can see a noun beginning with
Moon.
And the moon. Very good. I can see a noun beginning something you eat.
Okay, so again, there's no need to watch too much of this stuff. You can just see all I'm doing is making sure he remembers what nouns are, because part of my objective is for him to know that they're different than verbs. So we need to confirm he remembers that, right? So again, this lad hasn't done many sessions with me on the Jolly Grammar. We haven't spent hours and hours and hours together. I've known the young lad for a long time with Jolly Phonics. We've moved into grammar recently. So I'm going to recycle what we've already done. I'm going to revisit a page we already completed about nouns, just to confirm and reinforce and consolidate. Still in the lead-in, nothing's new. All right, we're going to look at this old piece we've done in the past about the duck swims on the pond. We're going to review capital letter, full stop, and then make sure we understand subject object. The duck swims on the pond. I'm then going to do passing with him. Can you pass the nouns? Where are the two nouns, the common nouns? Duck and pond. The duck, a duck swims on the pond. Yeah, TPR as well, audio visual kinesthetic, multisensory approach. We're going to do the chicks run to the nest. Right? Can you pass that for me? There's chicks, there's a nest. I'm not going to show you too much. It's not overly important to see the video, just to show you this is how I do it.
Look at the screen. Can you see? What nouns can you see in the picture?
Duck.
A duck, that's right. You can see a duck, very good. And what is the duck swimming on? Oh, what's this? What's this? Do you remember?
Hawk.
Or almost, yeah. We call it a pond.
Pond.
That's right. And what's the duck doing?
Swim.
That's right. Oh, that's so good.
You see, I kind of highlighted, kind of referred to the verb a little bit there, just warming him up. And we were able to work through it. Okay. Next, slowly and surely transition to the concept of verbs. Right? So I've not over obsessed, you know, I've not tried to, it doesn't need to be perfect. I just need to know that he's confident what nouns are. I've kind of hinted at the verb already about what's the duck doing, just to see that he's got it. And I'm just going to move into verbs. Now, there's nothing wrong with recycling your work, guys. Going back to the same piece of work and extending it. I do it constantly with my work, with my students, all right? It's very useful, and it creates this sense of achievement with ease, all right? So all we're going to do in the next thing is look at them, highlight what are they doing. The ducks are swimming. Okay, where's that word? Point to the word. There it is. Well done. What are the chicks doing? They run. Excellent. Point to that word. And now I've highlighted the color red. I haven't quite said why yet. I haven't put a laser focus on it, but we're approaching it. Right? We're approaching that part of the lesson, but I've not got the laser focus out yet.
Now, Jonah, we've just learnt that the duck swims on the pond. And nouns, we do this for nouns. The duck swims on the pond. The chicks run to the nest. What is the duck doing? Is the duck eating? Flying? What does it do?
Swimming.
Swims. Come and point to the word swims. Where is that word? There it is. And what?
Now, you'll notice he didn't immediately answer the word swim when I said, what's the duck doing? I gave him 1 or 2 seconds. If he'd have immediately said swims, my assessment was, oh, this kid's got it 100%. But he looked at me and I could see his eyes go up and he was like not getting it. So I gave him a binary choice. Rather than just say, it swims, it swims. That's spoon feeding. I then gave him a binary choice. Well, what is it? Is it running? Is it eating? Is it swimming? I mean, a binary is 2. But I gave him kind of a simple choice to kickstart it. And swims. If he'd have said walk, run, or eat, my assessment would be, oh, he's not really ready for this at all. And I would take a step back and I would do more examples with him. But he didn't. He got it with a cue. Because what's the title of our session? Prepare for success. Yeah, that's the point. All right. Now, we're focusing. Now, I'm confident my young lad has got all the tools in his tool belt. He's got all the things he needs in his hand. I'm now going to label this new knowledge as a verb. Let him know they're read, and then do some checking of understanding. Use a nice big book, and we'll just ask him to show me a bunch of verbs. Who's running? Who can swim? Can you see the bee that will swim? And I might use the present continuous by accident and say who's swimming, who's jumping, who's diving. It doesn't really matter. But I might just say, show me the verb eat, the verb eat. Show me the verb swim. Yeah, and he does it very well. I highlight the fact that they're read. I don't go into the actions in this point too much, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? This is the young man doing that.
Hey Johnny, have a look at my big book. What verbs can we see? Can you see anybody sleeping? Where is the verb to sleep? Can you see a bee sleeping? Where is that? That's right. What else can you see? What other verbs can you see for me? Can you remember any other verbs? Any more words of things they're doing?
Cook.
Cook. Well done. What else? What else? What's this bee here doing? What's that verb?
Swim.
Swim.
Now you'll notice he picked out the word cook, which is in the worksheet, which was in my TPR. It had lodged in his head, right? He had the word cook in his mind. So he's like, oh, cook, yeah. Now, normally that wouldn't be the first thing I think they'd choose. I think they'd choose something different. But because we'd prepped him with the TPR, he naturally went to the word cook. And then I asked him to identify another one that might be in our worksheet, right? So he was fine with that.
Hey, Johnny.
We're at our target. We can now complete a piece of work, right? It's not an activity like the Jolly Phonics one where it's an independent activity because he's alone. He's not got any pals to bounce off. He's got no partners. So we're going to do the very straightforward verbs sheet from the Jolly Phonics where he has to identify them, then he has to draw pictures after reading them, and then he has to think of his own. It's very straightforward. And there's the young man feeling very proud of himself and his work. Now, one final thing I want to ask you is how long do you think this whole class took? Do you think that was an hour, 50 minutes? That whole thing was a 30-minute class. Very quick, very straightforward, and he didn't feel stressed or anxious at any moment in the class. In my mind, a successful class, all right? If you like this stuff, please do check me out on YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube now, please subscribe, like, hit the notification button. You can also find me on Facebook. If you type in EAC School and you can communicate with me directly there, I answer all messages. You can see, you can enroll online with me, not a big deal. I hope this video is useful to you guys. Thank you very much. See you soon.